The Georgia Bulldogs had another big visit weekend, so let's bring in our good pal, Rusty Mansell of DawgsHQ. Rusty, here's a look at who was there at their big visit weekend. You had four-star defensive lineman Aiden Breland, four-star defensive lineman LJ McCray, offensive tackle Nair Daniels, offensive tackle Jonathan Daniels, no relation, linebacker Chris Jones, and linebacker Chris Cole, both of them out of Virginia. Rusty, who did UGA make the biggest move on over the weekend?
I would probably, if I had to say right now, I'd probably say Nair Daniels, the offensive tackle out of New Jersey. Here, look, Fran Brown connection continues to make Georgia a stronghold there. When you look at Nair Daniels, young man, 6'8", 360-pound plus, 11.5-inch hands, and a over 36-inch arm. Josh, we throw around grown man a lot. That is a grown man.
All right. On three's number one overall offensive tackle, Jonathan Daniels, was also in town. This has primarily been an LSU FSU race up to this point. Was Georgia able to get in there?
Yeah, I think Georgia made a move there. You got to look at him, and Josh, you know me every week. My theme is let this visit high kind of wear off and see where you're at with things. But he weighed in good, around 285 pounds. I was told just a tad under 6'5", so he's got the length, he's got the frame, and he's one of those terms. He's a dancing bear, man, when you watch him on tape. So I think Georgia definitely getting him up. Stacey Searle's done a good job. Been down there a couple of times to visit him. So he's also one to watch. This may be one of those weekends, Josh, where Georgia doesn't get instant news out of the weekend, but it may be one of those ones when we go back and look at the class of 2024. This weekend potentially could pay off pretty big.
So you're saying the seeds have been planted. I like it. Tell me about the Virginia linebackers. They brought in two from the state of Virginia, Chris Jones and Chris Cole. What's going on with those two prospects?
Yeah, I get a lot of questions on them, and I'm pretty confident in saying that both of those guys are takes, and you look how athletic they are. I think the picture of Chris Cole, he put on Twitter this weekend, he was dressed up in Georgia gear. He's a lot longer athlete than people think. He's one of the fastest hurdlers in the country, so he is a freaky athlete. You look at Chris Jones with his length. So I know Georgia is fighting to keep Demarcus Riddick in this class. He was at Alabama this past weekend. He's going to make a final decision in July. Georgia would like to bring in 3 inside linebackers, but we're going to talk about another one here in a minute to be on campus this weekend. So Georgia still with a lot of kind of meat left on the bone, an inside linebacker. We'll see how Glenn Schumann finishes this class up.
All right, before we preview next weekend, tell me about the Buford boys. Now, they weren't in Athens this weekend. Instead, they were in Columbus. Edric Houston and teammate KJ Bolden took their official visits to Ohio State. And the rumors are swirling, Rusty. And I know you don't cover Ohio State, but you do know those Buford boys. What are you hearing?
Yeah, I've told, the members of DawgsHQ for a while. I think Edric Houston it would be leaning to Ohio State if he had to say right now, like, who's his number one. He went up there this weekend. Be interested to see what we hear out of this week. I know Georgia, Clemson, and Alabama, a lot of schools are trying to get in on him, but I think Ohio State has a pretty good league there, in my opinion, with him. KJ Bolden, I would predict Georgia as of today, but I've told everyone this Ohio State visit is the one to watch. Where is he at when he gets back from Columbus? So, we'll see him kind of next couple of days, see where he is. But the biggest threat to Georgia, if they were to land KJ Bolden, in my opinion, is Ohio State.
Yeah, it sure feels that way. Is there any concern, or I shouldn't say concern, but is there any feeling that Georgia needs to weather the next 24 to 36 hours and not have one of these top targets commit to Ohio State?
I think everybody in the country feels that way on Mondays. You're trying to get your guys to commit, and you're trying to hold on because everybody's on visits. Look, let's face it, June is that month. So anytime you're a prospect and you're at Alabama, you're at Ohio State, you're at Georgia, one of these schools that are hot right now, even Florida's hot right now. So you try to figure out where this prospect's mind is on Tuesday. Let that visit high wear off about a day or two, and tell me what you're thinking Tuesday morning when you wake up. In my experience, that's kind of when you find out what's really going on. But listen, I'm not sugarcoating. Ohio State is definitely a threat with the two prospects from Buford right now.
All right, Rusty. Well, the fun never stops. Right behind one big visit weekend is another. In this coming weekend, tell the fans. Well, I know you guys are going to have the full visit list up on DawgsHQ, but who are some of the big names that will be in Athens this coming weekend?
man. You want to start with position. Just talking about the number one linebacker in the country, Justin Williams out of Texas. He'll be in town this weekend. So Glenn Schumann, how's he juggle this board? How does he feel going into the weekend? But Justin Williams, I can assure you, if he wants to commit to Georgia at any time, he's got a spot. So Brandon Baker, the number one offensive tackle in the country. Josh, we got a chance to meet him at the Nashville On3 Elite Series, and what an impressive young man. I think if I had to make a prediction on him, I would say Oregon. He had the Oregon book backpack when he was in Nashville. So, Georgia's going to get their chance with him.
Another big visitor that I'm expecting in this weekend is Jonah Ajanya. He's going to be in Athens. What are the Bulldogs going to do to roll out the red carpet for him?
The best thing that's happened to me on this Monday is you pronouncing that, because I would absolutely barbecue his name. But I'll tell you this, he is a really, really good football player. And if you look at the On3 RPM prediction machine, Georgia is a strong leader right now. I think industry-wide, a lot of people feel like he is trending toward Georgia. And he's a teammate of Justin Williams, and they'll be here together. So this is the second time they've been to Athens in about the last 6 weeks together. Major target at defensive line for Georgia. So we'll see where we are next Monday with this one, because I know Georgia would love to add him to this 2024 class.
Whew. Well, the dust hasn't even settled from this past week, and we're already talking about next week. And Rusty, we're getting way ahead of ourselves. Thanks for stopping by today on the Inside Scoop.
Thank you.